Okay, so I'm recording the session. So kind of like remind everyone if you have any concerns with your face being recorded because we are going to place this in YouTube as part of the Agile 20 Reflect Festival. You may turn off your camera, but if you don't have any concerns, please keep it on so that we can have a better conversation down the road. Okay. All right. So that's good. So I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, so a bit about myself. So I'm actually enterprise agile coach. So I'm quite lucky because I was initiated with agile since 2001. So back in I'm actually came from Indonesia, but I'm staying in Singapore now. So back in 2001, I was actually introduced to extreme programming, and from there I kind of like understand. I mean, it was a long journey to really understand about what agile is about, and basically this is where I kind of like keep reading things and then keep trying to find out new things about agile, and hence I stumbled into personal agility system last year, and then it's actually helped me a lot. I mean, personally it helps me a lot because um, I tend to have this enjoyable moment when I actually achieve something, and then it's not only the feeling of scratching your item from to-do list. When you scratch your item, when you stack through your item from to-do list, it's actually giving you the sense of achievement. But the difference with the personal agility system is that that sense of achievement goes deeper, because that achievement is actually have a meaning to your life. Hence why personal agility system is really unique. Okay, so if for you guys, I just wanted to highlight that in case you want to connect with me in LinkedIn, this is my link, linkedin.com/in/Rashad, or you can scan the QR code. Okay, I will share the link also in the Zoom chat later. Okay, so I will now, without further ado, okay, one more, basically, we have Janani also here. Perhaps I would give the opportunity to Janani to introduce herself, and she is actually a personal agility trainer. Okay, so she has been experienced with personal agility, so and she's a coach, safe program consultant. So okay, over to you, Janani.
Thank you so much, Fadli, and very nice that we are collaborating to deliver this personal agility workshop. So let me share my screen. It's
Yeah,
easier.
let me stop
Yeah,
my sharing.
yep, great. So I'm sharing my screen. Can you all see my screen now?
Yep, I can see.
Okay. So hi again, warmly welcome to this global celebration of Agile 20. And with personal agility, you can celebrate and choose your life every day. So I am Janani Lianage. I'm from Sri Lanka. I'm an enterprise agile coach by passion and by profession. And also I'm the founder of Agility Tune-Up Transformation Services. I see myself through this picture. You can see this picture, the ocean, the boat, and the sky are in complete harmony. Similarly, I continue to align myself, my purpose, my passion, and my profession. So that's why I support myself as well as the people and organizations to achieve the personal agility, and then business agility by helping them to become more aligned people and more aligned organizations. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm so excited to share this gift of personal agility with you all. And also I serve as in this radiant journey from 15 years of this radiant journey in tech management and entrepreneurial background. I also serve as the ambassador for Agile 20 Festival, and also I serve as the co-founder of Sri Lanka chapter of Personal Agility, and also the Sri Lanka catalyst for LEA, that is Lean in Agile for Women, where we empower women in the areas of lean and agile in terms of training, coaching, and mentoring. And I also be honored to serve as a jury member of the World's Agility Forum for last 2 years. So let's get started. The lineup for the day is like this. So first 40 to 45 minutes, we're going to explore what is personal agility, why personal agility, and personal agility mindset. After that, we are moving to a very discovery of your personal agility through a activity. It's a coaching approach to personal agility. So for this activity, you will need a sheet, a simple sheet, a worksheet. For some, we have already mailed you. If you have it, please open it. And if not, Fadli will be sharing you a link. It's a Google Drive link. Just
Yeah.
click it and download that sheet for you. No
Yeah.
hurry. We have about 40 minutes before we get started with an activity. But just to keep you informed that you will need this worksheet in about 40 minutes. Right.
Yep.
So for you to get started with, okay, I want you to visualize. I invite you to visualize an objective of your life as you have already achieved it. Visualize a significant objective in your life as you have already achieved it. For example, next 2 minutes, I am going to visualize that I am as a yoga coach. Now I'm far away from that goal. That's okay. I'm not going to make a plan towards next 2 minutes, but I close my eyes and see that I am working as a yoga coach with this yoga outfit, and I can see, I can feel that energy born in me and projecting to the whole atmosphere. I am energized, my students are energized. So that's what I'm going to visualize in next 2 minutes. Now it's your turn, just 2 minutes. Let's silently do a reflection on a objective that you have already achieved it. Okay? An
So I'm going
objective
to
as you
put a
have
timer.
already achieved it. Yeah.
I'm going to put a timer for 2 minutes. So yeah, please visualize your objective. Okay. What do you think is your primary objective in your life? 1 more minute. Thirty seconds more. Ten seconds. All right. Okay. Time is up.
Right. Right. So I believe by now you have a beautiful picture, a positive picture about your own life centered around that objective. Now I invite you to think about the definition of awesome of this objective, not just the definition of done, right? But It's your life. It has to be awesome, not just done, right? So
Not just the
yeah.
OD, yeah.
Exactly. It's not just done, it has to be awesome end of the day. So I invite you to think about the definition of awesome of your objective in terms of these three questions. So it will really help you to nicely write it down, visualize and write it down your definition of awesome. Starting with, what is the impact, which means what would you do or what would you have differently when you achieved it. So I will first tell you all three questions so you can write it down in a notepad or a word pad, that's fine. Okay, so first thing is, what would you do or what would you have differently when you achieved it? For example, when I become a yoga coach, I would obviously have more mindfulness, more growth in myself, as well as I will be helping myself as well as my family or my the students to grow, right? So that is the impact that I create. But that's not enough. What is the meaning? How this impact would help you to move to one step forward towards your bigger purpose in your life. Suppose my bigger purpose in life is to help people to grow to their next level, find their own potential. So if I could teach them to be mindful about their mind and body, then I'm helping that, right? That's the meaning I'm getting through this impact. And that's also not enough. We need to have balance. That is, how do I really want to feel for myself when I achieve this? If I feel tired, if I feel stressed, if I feel overwhelmed, then I don't think I have achieved something that really, really matters to me. So, what is that balance? So, let's take just 3 minutes, right? Just 3 minutes. Start writing these answers for yourself. Okay, so I'll be doing the counting. I will use the stopwatch. So you can start writing down for three
Yep.
minutes. Okay.
So I can share in Menti. Okay. So I will share you my screen. So
Yeah,
basically,
let's start. They will let them start, and maybe towards the second minute, we'll share them the
sure,
Mentimeter
sure,
uh,
sure,
link.
sure.
So let's get started. 3 minutes.
Let-
Right. So as you are reaching the third question, how would you want to feel when you achieve it? Please write only that answer, not the first two, but how do you want to feel when you achieve it in the link that I have just shared? Okay. So I have shared a link. So please respond in that link. How do you want to share? How do you want to feel when you achieve it? And let's see what emerge. So let's take one more minute and you can put your answers. Yes, keep padding. 30 seconds more. Right, let's see what has emerged. So, how do you want to feel when you achieved it? You want to feel thrilled, satisfied, calm, established, successful, energetic, happy, relieved, celebrate. Wow. So, these are the things, if you think about these feelings, these are the things, end of the day, what really matters to you. These are the things, end of the day, what really matters to you. But don't you think sometimes, not all of you, but most of us are in a hamster wheel of work, 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 work. And we are working towards how many goals we are working towards. Think about starting from maybe your kindergarten, right? Starting from kindergarten to the school, to your first term test or first grade test, to the scholarship, the exams, and then university, the degree, the next job, to next promotion, to the next promotion, to the MBA. How many goals that you are working towards? And I hope that you already achieved so many goals. But are you feeling happy by now? Are you elated? Are you established? Are you in alignment? Are you satisfied? I love that word. Are you satisfied? If not, if not, I think you have to think about it very seriously. If not, okay, because we already have achieved so many goals. And if you don't feel the way that you want to feel now, then you have to think about it. And not only think about it, but do something about it. Now, when you do something about it, you have two options. You can read more and more books, management books about the productivity, efficiency, agility. You can read n number of books, or you can download n number of applications on time management. Or else, do something different. Do something different. Try to decode your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own emotions, and most importantly, try to decode your own self and start asking you what really matters to me and how do I take ownership towards that. Then, if you want, you can go and read these books or applications, which are very important, but let the answers come within. Let the answers come within, then you can explore any of these books. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of the personal agility, right? So, with that, let's get started. I hope you can see my screen. Now, let's get started on exploring what agility means in life. Could anyone break the silence and share what agility means in your life? What is that?
Yeah. So let's hear from anyone. Um, let's break the silence. So also testing your audio. So, whether your audio works fine, so it can tell us what agility means in life, basically. So anyone, please come and then share. What do you think agility means in your life?
Mhm.
Anyone?
Anyone?
So not in your work, yeah, in your life. So because
Is the ability
agility
to
means
just
yes,
is the
please.
ability to just and change
Ability
in a
to
constant
adjust
way
and
and adapt.
change. I love
Yeah,
it.
and adapt to new changes in life and what happens. So quicker you can adapt, the quicker you can change, the quicker you can adjust everything that you are doing, not stuck in the world that you are.
Wonderful,
Wow,
wonderful.
wonderful.
Loved it.
That's very
Loved
deep.
it.
How do I address you? Is it grayling, Royan?
Sorry, just
Yep.
say it again.
How do I address you? Is it Vian?
Yeah,
Grayling?
Vian. Yeah, Vian.
Ah, Vian. Ah,
It's
Vian. Thank you,
Afrikaans
thank you.
Vian, yeah.
Yeah,
What
thank
a
you, Vian.
pleasure.
So, yeah, it's really deep. I mean, the way he explains, right? He's like very passionate when he say that statement, because he's like saying that very being adaptive to new changes in life. So yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
really good actually. So what about
I'll
from
add,
anyone?
I'll add iteratively to what he said. He
Hmm.
said it very succinctly. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Archan.
Thank
Thank you.
you, thank you. So yes,
Anyone
this is
else?
what, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would say agility is a way to go out of your comfort zone and then experience those things where you're not comfortable, to see how much of a risk or willingness to explore new things. So I would say the agility is one of that quality.
Yes. Yes, yes, that's again is adding the meaning to the agility. Yes, that's very nice for sharing these thoughts. Okay, so whenever I introduce the agility, I use this picture. What is this picture is about? I know all of you know
Moana.
this. Mona, Mona. I love this one. Our children loves this. I love this picture because this movie is about this beautiful, brave girl who found her true identity, true purpose in her life through a journey. So, since personal agility is also a journey, I always take this metaphor to introduce personal agility. So, as most of you have mentioned already, personal agility or agility is an ability. It's an ability to steer the ship towards your course through storms without abandoning the ship but adapting to storms. Without abandoning the ship but adapting to storms. And today we are living these storms. We are living, breathing, and experiencing this storm like pandemic. But we can't abandon our ship, right? Because we have things that matter to us. We have people that matters to us. We have our goals that matter to us. We can't just abandon the ship. This is exactly what we are talking here. Okay. So what do you mean by ability to steer your ship towards your course? Means things that matter to you through storms, urgent things, unexpected things, complexities in your life like we face today, and without abandoning the ship, but adapting. Now, when we say adapt, sometimes it could be to move faster, but not always it's about speed. Sometimes we have to stay afloat. Sometimes we will have to stay afloat or take a pivot in our life. We have to take a pivot, or else you have to turn the ship around, right? So, with that self awareness, it's important. It could be to move faster, it could be to stay afloat, take a pivot, or turn the ship around. So that's what personal agility. But it's nice to say, right? It's nice to say this is about this. But if you really want to have this, like, which means do what really matters in your life, you need to have to grow three types of mindsets in your life. What is that? Impact, desire to create impact, which means that you achieve your short term goals by getting right stuff done faster. Wow, I had an impactful day today. I had an impactful week. I start my week with confidence and end with satisfaction. Wow, what does it mean? Like I start my week or my day with confidence, which means I have planned well. I see a good, I have confidence, I have control that I can take it on. And then I end the day and end the week with satisfaction. I did all these things, right? And that is the impact. And that's a great feeling and great place to be. But that's not just enough, right? You need to keep adding meaning to your life. What do you mean by adding meaning to your life? Which means you achieve your long-term goals by staying in the course without drifting off course at the wake of storms and get closer to the purpose of your life. But in this journey of achieving this impact and meaning, If you feel exhausted, oh my God, I just need a break. If you feel like that, then maybe somewhere something is not working well, which means that you still need, with impact, with meaning, you have to be nice to yourself. You have to be nice to the others. And you need to live a sustainable life with alignment. Because in the journey of meeting the impact and meaning, by any chance, if you have become very exhausted, stressed, and toxic person, no point of achieving. It's not about somehow achieving the goals, right? You still have to maintain your values, your alignment. So that's why for personal agility, we're talking about impact, meaning, and balance. So in next 20 to 30 minutes, what we're trying to do is exploring about these mindsets and how do we develop that. Okay. And after that, we are getting to a very simple activity which will really help you to implement in your day-to-day life. Let's get started. Starting with impact. Okay, starting with impact. Now, when we talk about the impact, one of the important things that we want to focus is how can I get rid of constantly being overworked? Now, we all are human beings. Seasonally, we will all get overworked, and that's okay. But what I'm saying is, it is as a pattern, if you're like this, I think you need to think about it because I'm sure at a given point of time, we all can really emphasize and really, relate us to this picture. Don't you, Fadli?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, not long ago, I was kind
Oh,
of like
yeah,
this.
yeah. We all feel like that, right? Because
Yep, yep.
work is coming from everywhere. From your office, from your family, from your society. I have so much to do, but so little
Also
time.
from kids during nearing the exam.
Exactly, right? We all can. I'm sure we all, can share this picture with our lives.
Yeah.
But the thing is, uh, knowing that we have so much work and so little time, sometimes when we have so many demands and expectations in our life, we don't want to take a risk of saying no. Knowing that I have a limited capacity, knowing that I have so much to do, so little time, but we still sometimes we don't want to say no. Not all of us, but some of us find this challenging. Why is that? Why is that? Would anyone like to share why is it sometimes difficult to say no to certain demands and expectations?
Yeah. Let's hear from the audience. Why do you think it's difficult for you to say no? So while waiting, I think someone is asking whether the slide can be shared later.
Yes,
If,
we
if,
can share it. Yes.
yes. So yep, that's the question from Archana. So we will share the slide later after the meetup. So no worries. So yes, let's hear from everyone. Anyone?
Why is it
Why do you
difficult to
think?
say no?
Yeah. Why is so difficult to say no?
I think often it's trying to be nice, but more importantly, because in the bigger picture, we've not prioritized necessarily.
Mm,
So, yeah.
yeah, that's very true. We try to be nice. That is one big reason that I also have.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Terence said that he say it's difficult to be as to say no because he say it's to avoid confrontation. Yeah, I mean I can
Yeah,
relate. I can relate because for some of us we just want to have a peaceful life, so we try to avoid confrontation. So yeah, thanks Terence.
thanks,
Onwan also
thanks.
mentioned. Onwan mentioned that my image as giver doesn't allow me to say no. So Onwan, it's quite interesting point you say here. Can you elaborate more, please? Perhaps you can highlight to us verbally.
Thank you,
This
Fali.
is Sheila. Sorry.
Yes.
This is Sheila. There are two things for me. One is sometimes I get competitive even when I didn't mean to. And therefore, I don't want to say no because I don't want the other person to get to do it if it sounds interesting.
Yeah,
And the other thing is, since I'm probably older than a lot of the people, I worry that if I say no, it'll be perceived as, oh, she's weak, she's old,
mm,
Oh, I see.
she's not as valuable.
I really hear you. I really hear you because that's
Mm.
I'm going to share that. In fact, in the next slide, that's exactly what I'm going to share. My reasons for saying no. Someone
Yeah.
else also was talking.
Yes, Onwan. Yes, please, Onwan. Go ahead.
Sure. I think for me, obviously, I resonate with Terence that
Mm.
I would like to avoid negative emotion like confrontation. The other perspective is I also want everybody to like me. So I would like to give more and more, and that sometimes doesn't help me.
Exactly, exactly.
Thank
I
you,
think
thank
we
you.
all hear you that the concerns. This is very powerful for sharing this
Yeah,
insights. Thank you so much.
thank you so much. And
Because
last one from Brianna also mentioned, saying no comes with great personal or professional risks, including threat of physical harm. Yeah.
yes.
So okay.
Yes, that's all these things are very powerful that you are sharing, and it's we all have these challenges, right? We in common. So if you see that, if I share summarize my no's reasons for saying no, uh, I thought I should do everything. Janani is responsible for the whole world. Now that's an illusion, right? I know that's an illusion, but still I think I have to be responsible for everything. My family, my school, my university, or my company. I have to be
Mm,
responsible for everything. Or else, as you all mentioned, if I say no, I risk this relationship, right? It could be with
mm,
my family, my spouse, my boss, my friends. I'm going to risk a relationship if I say no. Or else, as someone also mentioned, I feel weak if I don't do this. Why others can do that, then why can't Janani do that? Right now you say, now think about these reasons. Now we say it is hard to say no to someone else, but if you look at, I think I should do everything, I think I risk a relationship, I think I am weak. So where's the problem really relies? It's not in that person. The problem is in me actually. I'm thinking all these things that I can't say no, right? Because we in the positive attitude we say yes for everything. No, that's not bad. That's we are not talking about that positive attitude, but you have to have the self awareness, right? Accept things. When it is no, it is no, right? It is, we have to accept certain things. Now I want to talk about that part, because it's not about this saying yes or no. I hope you remember this Mona moment right here. It's about, first of all, building consensus with your own mind. It's about building consensus with your own mind and agreement on end of the day what really matters to you, because you are the captain of your own ship, not anyone else, right? So it's important that build that consensus with your own mind and what really matters to you, and how would you invest your capacity. Okay, so when we start thinking about the capacity, so it's important to understand it's about that whether you say yes or no, but how you invest your capacity. You will have lots of to-dos, you have a limited capacity, and then when you start realizing, now I should start focusing my capacity, one important thing that will come to realize is it is not the time. It is not the time that we should manage, but it is our priorities. Because time is quite fair, right? It gives you a day for you and me equally. So why do we try to control an external force, a natural phenomena? Instead, why don't we mind our own business, right? So we need to start prioritizing our own priorities rather than trying to manage the time. Okay. But now we start thinking, okay, now I have to prioritize everything. Now I start writing a big to do, and oh, it goes on and on, right? Partly smiling. We know that right now. Our to do list goes on and on because everything looks like a priority. Now, like in your product backlog, can you give a sequence number to your family? Okay, now I have to do this and then next and then next. I mean, it's so difficult. We know that and we accept it. Okay, so which means, what does that message, what's the message it gives you is that by trying to stretch yourself too thinly, you will be capsized. Okay, so let's visualize this. Okay, now this is you trying to do one thing or one goal at a time. You're just achieving it one week, and this is you're trying to do 5 things at a time. What happened here? What happened here? Why it took so long? Why it took so long? Yes?
What everyone thinks? Why it took so long? Basically,
The overhead
seems
of
like
context switching.
Exactly, exactly,
wonderful.
exactly. Wonderful. Because whether it's a number of multiple projects in your organization or number of multiple things in our life, these are not like minor trivial tasks like you answer the phone while cooking. Ladies can do that. It's not what I'm talking here. Right? We're talking about things like the goals that you need your uninterrupted focus. When you try to do everything at a time, then this context switching, lack of focus, and all these things can really drift your energy. All right. Sometimes we think we have to do everything, but you have to know this fact as a truth. Now, that's why multitasking is number one productivity killer. I remember myself like in 6 years ago in my CV, I look at it and laugh at myself. I wrote that I'm a multitasking, highly efficient professional. And I don't know. I mean, those days I wrote it, right? But we know now. We know now it's a multitasking.
Lessons learned.
Number
Lessons
one,
learned.
lessons learned. It's all about lessons, right, in your life. So multitasking is a number one productivity killer. And I mean, we all are agilists and we know this, but it's important to not only know it, accept it in our life. Just knowing and accepting is two different things. Okay. And then, so what we're talking here is that by trying to stretch yourself too thinly, you work like crazy, but you don't get things done. So, no focus on what really matters, right? You know how to work crazily. We all work crazily, but still, that's why we are sometimes tired because things not moving because we are not focused on what really matters in our life. Okay, so if you want to have, as a summary, if you want to have an impactful day, impactful week, start your week confidently and end with satisfaction, then it's important to focus on what really matters in your life. So, what the personality systems brings is that how to identify what really matters, not only identify, how would you stay true to that, what really matters. Okay. So this is very important that you know that ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water gets inside them. Now, as you in your life, you as the captain of your own ship, you need to be aware that there will be myriad of expectations and demands in your life. But you have to be mindful that if you are to save yourself, you have to grow, then you have to be aware and take what you really take inside your ship, right? This is important. And this will happen only when you have the self awareness, only when you can start building a consensus with your own mind on what really matters. Because otherwise, in front of this fear of confrontation, in the fear of breaking a relationship, in the fear of thinking that I'm weak, we might accept everything in our life, right? It's an illusion, but if you have the self-awareness, then you know it's my ship and I'm the captain of my ship and I make sure what I get inside it, right? So that's very important if you're going to live an impactful day, an impactful week. Okay, so the summary is that we have to develop our self-awareness on how we invest our capacity to focus on what really matters, build consensus on with your own mind on what really matters. Instead of managing time, we start focusing our capacity and what really matters. Okay, now that's about impact. So I'm moving on to the next one, the meaning of life. Okay, so we are moving to the meaning of life. How do you achieve long-term goals? Now
Before we
think.
start, any questions on the impact side? Sorry, on the previous one,
Impact, yeah.
impact side. So anyone, do you have any questions? This would be an interesting journey because you see a world map there. So Janan is going to explain about Jamaica. All right, let's start, Janan.
Yeah. So imagine you are the captain of a sailing ship on the course to Jamaica. And if Jamaica is not your destination, you can think about any destination that you love to go. Okay, so we are taking an example as Jamaica. Okay, so this is your path. Now, It's important that you stay on the course by checking your position and progress time to time. Now we know if we start a project with our team in our organizations, we have all these daily scrum to sprint planning to review to retrospective to burn down chart to see the progress. Are we are in the course of achieving the sprint goal, right? And how do we continuously improve? Now it's not scrum, we can't practice scrum in life, but there should be a simple way that in our lives how to see our position and a progress, right? It's important to have. Now what happens if you are caught in a storm? Are you aware of it? Most important thing is that we caught in a storm, and without knowing, without that self-awareness, we simply drift off course. Think about the pandemic. How many excuses we gave about the pandemic and let us drift off course from our Jamaica, right? How many excuses we gave. Now that everything happens in remote, we don't have the interaction, the shops are closed, the organizations are closed, it's not booming, the economy is not booming. So with all these excuses, how many times, how many events that we have really let ourselves drift off the course? Now, thing is, sometimes when you take a pivot, if you're taking it mindfully with the awareness, and that's okay, sometimes when we take those pivots, we will find new destinations. And that's great. If you want that, that's great. Right? What we're saying is when you're taking a pivot, do it with that knowing, with that conscience. Because your life is an ocean and your conscience is your GPS. And you need to turn it on. You need to activate your GPS. Then when your GPS activated, then when you take a pivot also, you will keep on asking, where is Jamaica? Where is Jamaica? And do you really care about it? Do you really care about it? And you have to turn the ship around in that case. For example, last year I was doing assignments in US, but whenever I travel, I get some time to think for myself, and I always wanted to start my OT, the leaders and OT through alignment, right? I want to help them to be transformed to their personal agility and business agility through alignment. This is for the vision that I had. But vision is not enough, great vision, but it's not enough. I need to start working on it, right? So when I come in last year, March, so I was thinking that, okay, now it's time to get started. Now it's time to get started. All of a sudden, the countries are closed. Everything went back to remote. Now all of a sudden, like, I felt like I'm going to shut down myself, because now I had a big dream, big vision. And then I thought, okay, all the Agile is talking about the interactions and individuals and interactions. Now how can I do this, all these things in remote? Now what helped me in personal agility? In fact, I have been practicing personal agility for the last 3 years, and that self-awareness and my great mentors really helped me. The devil is not so dark as he's painted. The devil is not so dark as he's painted. More than the pandemic, it's your inner critic, it's your inner doubt actually stopping you to start your vision, right? So this excuses like, everything happens remote, people don't prioritize the training budgets and consulting, it won't happen now. You see, it's all this inner critic. Do you have that, small tiny voice that always chit-chatting you? Don't go, don't do this, don't do this, stop that. Be aware of
It's
it.
like evil.
Now,
It's like evil flying, it's like, like
right?
in cartoon, hey, don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you know this, right? Everyone has this tiny, voice that telling you not to do this, don't take that call, don't go for that opportunity, right? Now, I'm not talking about self-guidance, your great instinct, that intuition matters. But there is also that inner chat, keep on chit-chatting, don't do that. I'm talking about that. Okay. So I had the same problem, but thanks to my mentors, thanks to my personal agility, and thanks to myself, because I started believing that I am the captain of my ship, not anyone else, right? Then I was able to turn the ship around, and it's been 1 year, and I'm so happy with how things are going on, and every opportunity is for me to learn, right? So What we are saying is activate your GPS, and start believing you are the captain of your own ship. And that sometimes, for some people, sounds like selfish because it's not your family's ship, it's not your children's ship, it's not your spouse ship, or it's not your boss ship, it's your ship, and you are the captain. Now, sounds like a little bit of selfish to some people, but no. It's about you eradicating your self doubts, eradicating your inner critics, and be a better person. And if you are not happy, if you are not a good person, how would you help others to be happy? How would you help others to be great? Right? So it's not selfish, right? So it's important that we start believing that we are the captain of our own ship. And again, personal agility helps you to come into this belief system. Okay. So what do you say in terms of summary is life is an ocean and you are the captain of the ship. So we have to stay on the course constantly by checking the position and progress. Be aware when you're caught in a storm, right? Whether it's urgent thing, uncertain thing, sometimes we only prioritize urgent things. If there is a deadline attached, we will sometimes prioritize it. Sometimes if a penalty is attached, we will prioritize it. For example, credit card bills. So if our life is only goes through urgent things, what about the important things? I need to start writing my own book. Now, if you don't write a chapter or one page of your book, instead you keep on prioritizing urgent things, then you will not add meaning to your life, right? So that's the whole thing about it. Okay, so believing and working towards you are the captain of the ship and you have to turn the ship around. Any questions at this point?
Yep. Let's pause for a moment. And yes, let's hear from the audience. How are you feeling so far? So let's do a quick check. Are you kind of like still with us? Do you kind of like understand, grasp the whole idea, the impact? The first section to talk about the impact, and the second session to talk about the meaning. So the impact is about how we handle short-term goals, like those urgent things suddenly coming. And in fact, if we are not aware about, if we are not basically believe that we are the captain of the ship, then those short-term goals becoming overwhelming, and then it's going to have basically going to affect our life. So, and then the second part we talk about the meaning, where Janani mentioned that this is more for the long-term goals. So we need to have a meaning. So we live our life basically. We are captain of the ship. So we want to enjoy and have meaning in our life. So thank you, Janani. So let's hear from everyone. So anyone, any feedback, or how are you feeling? How do you think about the whole content so far? Feel free to speak up, please. Anyone? Has anyone heard about this phrase, your monkey is not my monkey? Has someone heard about it? Yes,
Yeah.
anyone?
Yeah, just wanted to say, yeah, so far it's been a really good presentation and looking forward to the rest of it as well. So, yeah.
Thank you, Archana. Let's move on then, Janani.
Yes. So let's move on to the next one, that is, creating balance. Okay, so
Okay.
So I would invite Padre to talk more about the balance.
All right. Okay, wonderful. So let me share my screen. Just give me a moment. Okay, so let me share my screen. So I'm going to talk more about balance. Thank you, Janani, for explaining so far. So let me share my screen now. Okay. And if you have any questions along the way, feel free to basically unmute yourself, and then you can actually ask the questions. Okay. Directly ask the questions. Okay. Or you can put in the chat. All right. So interesting. So we have gone through the third section of the today's session, which is about balance. Okay. So we talk about impact and meaning. Now we talk about balance. So now, why balance is important? So before I start, I just want to hear from anyone first. Why balance is important? Anyone can just give your opinion. Why do you think balance is important? Why our life needs to be balanced?
To avoid burnout.
Yep, that's very interesting point. That's very interesting point. Thank you so much, on one. So there is one thing I also wanted to highlight is that sustainability is really important. So we want to perform continuously. Okay, we don't want to like achieve a very good today, but then tomorrow we down, we feel down, and then suddenly we actually cannot wake up because we worked so hard last night. We burn out like what on one say. We try to achieve target, and then today we fall sick. Today we get hospitalized. So then that's not ideal. Okay, because at the end of the day, you have family to you need to spend time with. You have friends you need to spend time with. So you cannot just have everything in one focus. Let's say just focus on your work and then the remaining aspects of your life is being ignored. Okay. So personal agility system helps you with that ideal situation whereby you continue to perform, continue to have relationships with everyone, continue to do a meaningful life, meaningful relationships, meaningful activities. So balance is here is very important. Sustainability. Okay. So I'm sure some of you have heard that, or maybe feeling that why I feel exhausted after I get stuff done. So I mean, personally, this is what I feel in the past before I learned about personal agility system. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I actually get to know about personal agility system. I'm an agile coach. So an agile coach, I keep thinking about myself. Hey, as an agile coach, I'm actually helping teams to be agile. But then how come I myself doesn't feel agile? You know? So I feel like it's kind of like it's like we preach something that we don't do. So why we are asking people to do agile, but I myself is not very agile. I can't adapt. You know, I feel so exhausted. So that's comes to realization at that point of time when I heard about personal agility system from Peter Stevens, and then I enrolled with the course, and then here I am now. All right, so sustainable life with alignment. Okay, so there are three key points here: I, me, and myself. Okay, so most of us, or in fact, many people in this planet actually focus so much on this left side. I am the one doing. So the doing part. Okay, so this is the work. So I'm the one doing. So I'm actually kind of like focusing on delivering results. Okay, hand. So this is the hand part. And then some of us go to the next level, not only doing, focusing on the doing part, but also start thinking. Okay, so start thinking from the basically as a person, I am actually having a long-term goal, setting goals, prioritize. So that's me as a head basically. Okay, and then some of us also think have the feeling. Okay, like so I'm a feeling person, so I feel that this is what really matters to me. So I'm actually thinking more from the heart inside. Okay, so we kind of like different people might have a different focus on these three different areas. So for me in the past personally, I focus much on the hand and the head side, not so much on the heart. So it's kind of like not very balanced. So I was so what do you call this like very what do kind of like calculative, you know, like always thinking that there must be if I don't do this, there must be a race, all those things. So I was a traditional project manager, so all of this thing going on my brain and then thinking about what I can predict in the future, etc., etc. So many things I have to do, and but I never think about what's actually the voice of my heart. So what personal agility system is trying to achieve here in terms of balance is to balance all of these three little voices. Okay. I call the three little voices to align with what Janani said. There is these three little voices, but not all of the voices you need to ignore. So some of the voices you need to also kind of like listen to it. Okay. So basically, when we talk about balance, we try to align the work, your goals, and what really matters in your life, what is meaningful in your life. Okay. So first time I heard the word WRM, I was quite confused at that time. What is WRM? What is WRM? What really matters? So what really matters actually? Then I kind of like have an inner reflection, and I realized that what really matters is really what is meaningful. What is meaningful to you? So it's actually a very powerful word, because if you see from this circle, right? Okay, this like the three layers is like a onion layers. Okay, so the what really matters is the core, is you, is the core, is your heart basically. It's the inner of yourself. So you need to go inside the onion layers, peel off the onion layers, layer by layer, and then go deeper to yourself. Ask yourself what is meaningful in your life, what is meaningful in your work, for example. Okay. Once you have that, once you discover that, then you try to relate with the goals. What are the goals you're trying to achieve? Okay. Then you try to realize that becoming work or activities that you are doing. So this is actually an inner journey. So for you to really apply personal agility system in the what you call in a effective way is that you have to have this journey. So it's not so much later on when we come to the application, you will see some table, all those things, and you look like, hey, this time like a to-do list, this time like Kanban board. I mean, for some of you who have downloaded the spreadsheet, you might be asking. I mean, I was asking like that when I first time attended the course, and then I actually look at the canvas. This seems to me like a to-do list. Why what's so great about it? But then I realized that it's not just a to-do list. You have to have this journey first to discover about yourself, what really matters to you. Then only this tool will have a life, will be realized. If not, then it just become a piece of tools. Okay. So have this journey first, then only you can use the tools. All right. So this is a very good point. There is no such thing as work-life balance. It is all life. Yes, I really like this. The balance has to be within you. So organizations are trying to promote this keyword work-life balance. Okay, you're working here, your life is outside, but then it's work-life balance. So you're trying to balance, but that's not how we should live our life basically. So I don't know if you have read the book about reinventing organizations from Frederick Laloux. Okay, so one of the keywords he say is actually about wholeness. Okay, there are three there inside. If you read the book about reinventing organization, he said there are three keywords inside. He mentioned one is self-management. Okay, I think everyone has heard about self-management. It's very famous word. Self-management or self-organization. Yes, sorry. Self-management. The second keyword is wholeness, and the third keyword is evolutionary purpose in the TL organization. So the second keyword here he said about
Fadli,
wholeness is
sorry, could you repeat the second one once again, Ms. Pat?
yes. So the second one is called wholeness. Wholeness.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. So wholeness here means that basically, before this book coming, before this principle about TL organization comes into the society or to the community or to the industry, is that people is trying to, in the organization, there are certain words that people are finding it taboo to talk, like love, ooh, religion. It's like, wow, don't bring that word to the company, because it's going to, it's going to affect how we work. There's, oh, don't say love. Don't say it's who. It's like giving this emotion of like, don't say that. But wholeness here, according to Frederick Laloux, is that we ourselves need to bring out wholeness of our life. So we don't wear masks. So most of the time, when we don't have these principles that we come to office or we do our work, we wear mask. So what happens that everything we hide. So what we bring is what? Ego. So we bring our ego to come to office. So we don't bring love because we are afraid to bring love. We are afraid to bring something else. So the wholeness purpose here is that basically we come and then we perform, okay, by actually having as a real or true balance. Okay, that's how we can appreciate our life. All right. So basically, in summary, if you see the trees here, so trees rest live to conserve water and energy during harsher periods. So this is like how the tree actually conserve the water. And if you want to have impact, meaning, balance, and lead your course through difficult times of life, make a self-awareness, clarity on what really matters, and choose to spread the rest. So you have to conserve, remember, we are a human being, okay? As a human being, we have limited energy, we have limited time, okay? We don't live forever, okay? So start living your life with meaningful things. Enjoy your life. So yeah, that's from me. And basically, let's go back to Janani. Okay, over to you, Janani.
Thanks, Padley. Thank you so much, because this is something, the importance of balance is very important, because it's in the journey of, we mentioned, in the journey of achieving the meaning, achieving the impact and meaning. If you have become toxic people, if you have become more unaligned people, then there's no point, right? So the balance is very much important. It's the integral part of the personal agility systems. So let me share back my screen.
Yep.
I'll switch off the video for a moment to keep my network stable. Um, yeah, so I hope you can see in the screen. Okay, so this is the whole spirit of personal agility. This is something very close to my heart. That's why I have put this picture. So I remember about 12 years ago, I was a very successful software engineer, and I still love coding, and there's no doubt about it. I still do coding, but that didn't really define me. Okay, so in terms of the job, it was a very secure job. It was a very successful job, lucrative job, and I like doing coding. But I remember about 12 years ago, I was working hard towards my next promotion. And yes, of course, we worked so hard. So then I felt really exhausted. Now I thought it's natural. I thought it's natural because I worked too many hours in front of the laptop. And but for my utter surprise, after working so many hours, I didn't go home. I went straight away to Toastmaster clubs. I went straight away to my Toastmaster club because I was the VP education, and I was mentoring, coaching the people to ignite their inner passion of public speaking and help them to deliver speeches. Now I was asking myself, Janani, you are saying you are very tired, exhausted, and you want to go and sleep, then why do I rush into the Toastmaster club? And why do you coach and mentor? I mean, those days I didn't know it was coaching or mentoring, right? I didn't know that, but what I was doing is I thought I'm giving my helping hand to them. Okay. So for my utter surprise, I didn't get an answer as well. I just answered, why were you doing that? But I didn't get an answer. But I was very fortunate to have a mentor those days as well. So one question she asked, Janani, you seem to be really enjoying Toastmasters. I said, I love it. Yes, I love it. And she also asked, do you love your job as well? I said, there's no doubt about it. I just like it. And she said, wait. Take a pause. I asked, do you love it, not like it? Now, I know what she asked, and I was a little bit of silent. And then she asked me the most powerful, most transformative question in my life. That is, what change? What change needs to have happened for you to enjoy, for you to love the job as much as you enjoy today in Toastmasters? I said something like this. I said, today I deal more with the code, more with the laptop, whereas trying to fix the bugs in the code. Whereas if I can work more with people, helping them to decode, identify their bugs, and helping them to grow, that's where I love. Now, that was the most transformative question, because 12 years ago, there were no Scrum Masters in Sri Lanka. In fact, I was able to take that risk even to become one of the first Scrum Masters in a huge software product organizations. Yes, it was 12 years ago. So it was a huge risk. I was just returning from maternity leave, the sleepless nights, the tired, but with still that, I took that decision because that's created my alignment. I found my true self that defines me. The Scrum Master, the role, that coaching, that role defined me. So then I went on like an agile coach, enterprise agile coach, and today as an entrepreneur. So I feel that since about 3 to 4 years, very rarely I felt that I get dressed and go to work. Instead, I start feeling, okay, I'm getting another day, another opportunity for me to live my passion. So you are in a very nice place if your I, me, and myself are aligned. And that alignment comes with that self-awareness and with that clarity on what really matters to you, and with that consensus that you are choosing to take what really matters and shred the rest. Now that's important. Okay. So personal agility is a support system to get you there. Very important, how to create that self-awareness, how to create that clarity and consensus, and how to celebrate. I told it's not somehow you are achieving goals. In the journey, you have to smell the roses. In the journey, you have to cherish the things that you have already accomplished, right? So creating self-awareness, creating clarity and consensus on what really matters, and then celebrate your life and choosing what really matters to you. So personal agility systems is founded by Peter Stevens and Maria Martorelli, and it's a simple coaching framework which helps you to do what really matters. Okay, and I'm so glad and honored to be part of this global trainer and coach community where we spread the gift of personal agility globally for leaders, for entrepreneurs, for professionals, for anyone who wants to stand for what really matters.
Chairani, sorry, I would like to share my screen because I think your connectivity is a bit lagging. So
Okay,
let me
yes, please.
yeah,
Yeah,
let
yes,
me share
please.
my screen. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, so I'll be
Okay,
stopping
sorry to
sharing.
everyone. So let me share my screen so that okay. Okay. So I hope everyone can see. Please let us know. Is the screen still blurry or is it okay now? All right. Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
let's
So
move on.
please continue.
Thanks,
Let's
Fadli.
continue.
Thanks.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah. Right. So let's move on to the next one.
Yep.
The last 3 slides. Let's show up the previous slide maybe.
This.
The next one. Yeah. Yes. Right. This one. So so let's get started. There are three events. Fadli, will you start on this first one, the powerful questions? Yes. Thank you. Right. So for you to get started with the personal agility, there are 3 features in personal agility. One is powerful questions. Second is the celebrate and choose ceremony. Third is the priorities map. The priorities map is what we are going to do now. So at this point, I invite you, it's a good time for you to download the Excel sheet as well. So in a moment, we're going to get started, right? But it's not about the tool or the priorities map. Most important thing is that these 6 powerful questions. Now, the invitation of the personal agility systems is at least you spend around, how do I say, you spend around, we get a background noise if you kindly mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. Right, so the intention is that you ask these 6 powerful questions from you at least every week. Just spend 15 to 20 minutes and ask yourself these 6 powerful questions at least weekly. Starting with what really matters to you. First question is that you ask yourself what really matters to you. Now you might be wondering, what change would happen just because of asking what really matters to you. Okay, but think. Now let's take an example. Now you are going to get ready to go to a function and you want to find this nice, beautiful blue dress. Okay, but your wardrobe is so messy, you just can't find that. Okay, you just can't find that. Similarly, your life will be so painful if you have not figured out, especially making decisions, important decisions in your life would be really painful and slow if you have not figured out what really matters to you. So as consistently ask yourself what really matters to you. Then then you would ask, what did I do last week? And it's important that you give yourself a high five, celebrate for everything that you did last week, everything that you achieved last week. Now it doesn't have to be big thing, right? Even if you smiled with someone, if you listen to someone's story, if you showed empathy, that's a moment to celebrate. It doesn't have to be like every week that you get a promotion or you get a party, right? It's not that. It's just being a human being, right? If you lived your life in last week and you end with satisfaction, that's enough to celebrate. Self-love is so much important. So don't wait for others to bring you flowers. You make your own flower garden with your own high fives and own celebrations. Third, now you ask yourself, what could I do this week? Now you celebrated, what did you do? Now you ask, what could I do this week? Okay, which means now you start getting a lot of to-dos now into your mind, and that's okay. That's okay. And that's why the fourth question is important, where you ask, what is important, what is urgent, or what makes me happy? Right now, you do a mental filtering. What is important, what is urgent, what makes me happy? And then, the fifth question is so powerful. What can I expect to get done? Now, this is so powerful because instead of someone is forcing you, instead of the time pressure is forcing you, you are choosing what can I expect to get done. This is where you take your control in your life. This is where you take control in your life, right? And the sixth question is, who can help me? Now I know already what really matters to me. What could I do? Out of that, what can I expect to get done? Who will help me to stay true to this commitment? It could be your family, it could be your friends, but who can help me? Right? So these are the 6 questions that you ask yourself, right? Ask yourself. Now, it's important that it's not just one day or 1 week. You do it in a common cadence. We know in Agile, right? We know about how important is about the rhythm and the cadence. So the same reason, so you ask it every week. I make sure that every Saturday night, I spend at least 20 minutes to ask these questions. What do you grow from this? The self-awareness. First, you start with the self-awareness. Self-awareness becomes a desire to work on what really matters to you. The desire will create you clarity, consensus, and power to work on what really matters to you. And that's how the real magic of personality works. And then we'll go to the next one. Fadli will go to the next step. Yeah, the celebrate and choose. Right now, you do it celebrate and choose ceremony. I told, right? So you ask, what did you do last week? It's important to celebrate it and you choose it. Now, this is so powerful because if you really want to pace in your life, if you want to pace in your life, you have to take a pause. You have to take a pause, right? So how do you take a pause is that you ask these 6 powerful questions from you. You deeply connect with yourself. You observe what the story that I have to tell you today to myself. You ask powerful question, you listen, which is a great moment to refuel yourself to face the next week. That's what we mentioned, that we want to start our week confidently and end with satisfaction. Start with confidence, end with satisfaction, because when you do this celebrate and choose, you feel much more satisfied and confidence to meet the next week. Right? This is not any rocket science. It's just about you creating your self-awareness and that power in your mind. Okay, so let's see how it's really going to happen now, right? Let's see how it's really going to happen. I hope you all can download the priorities map. Is it with you all now, by now?
Have everyone download the files that I shared in the chat group? Anyone has any difficulties to download it?
Janani, one quick question. You mentioned that there are 3 features of personal agility.
Yes.
And the priority questions is one feature. Is that right?
Yes. So
And
first, yes, exactly. The first is the 6 powerful questions. Second
Right.
is that weekly celebrate and choose ceremony, which I explained now.
I see.
Third
Okay.
is the priorities map, which you're going to do now.
All right. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thanks.
Okay. Do you all have the priorities map with you all now? Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So this is a simple visual tool that we mentioned. Today I'm showing this PDF to you, but you already have the Excel version of it, so you can type it. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide, Fadli. Yeah, so you will have something like this in your Excel. There will be a couple of columns, right? What really matters. You have a possibilities column, you have urgent column, you have this week column, you will have today column, done column, and done week 1. And even Excel is the same, right? But for you to get really started, when you actually do it, we invite you to do it in a something like this in your manual board, right? This is something different to personal Kanban, right? Because this is not the same as personal Kanban. We need to emphasize it because, it starts with myself, your heart, what really matters to you. And then the possibilities are selected by my head, right? I prioritize. And then end of the day, my hand, what I choose to get done in this week. Okay. So this is a nice information radiator. This is a nice information radiator about your own life. It visualizes your I, me, and myself are in sync or not, right? Because in Kanban, we talk about the flow, get as much as work done in the flow, right? But in life, it's not about getting as much as work done, right? It's not about only limiting the whip, but even the limiting whip, it has to be things that matter to you. Now, we want to bring that substance to your life, and that's where the personal agility is different from personal Kanban. Okay, so let's move on, Fadli.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So you already have this Excel sheet. We'll go to the very first step of priorities map, getting started with the priorities map. Now, this is an activity you need to interact with yourself. So this is an individual activity, but we all connected here, but we will do this individually. Start with first step. First step is in your Excel sheet. In your Excel sheet, there is a place, the very first row, why personal agility. So there, let's take 2 minutes. I do the counting. Let's take 2 minutes and write down a bigger course or purpose or big change you want to pursue with the help of personal agility. Simply replace that sentence that you put in the red cross. You write it down. What is that course in your life that you want to achieve with the help of personal agility? Okay, so just 2 minutes.
I pasted the link again in case anyone still having problem to download the file. So I'm just giving the link again in the
Can
chat.
you just repeat the last, repeat what we're supposed to do again? Course, purpose, or big change that you want to, and where are we supposed to write this?
It's in the Excel sheet on why personal agility section.
Ah, okay, sure.
On the top left. So why do you want to use personal agility? So what is your purpose to use the personal agility? So everyone must have a purpose to use a certain things or certain framework or certain system. So we are asking you, or you are asking yourself, why you are using this. For me personally, when I discovered this, I was trying to get myself on track in terms of my life, to balance my life. So yeah, so I believe everyone has their own purpose.
Forty seconds more.
Hi, Janani.
Hi, Grace. Hi. Very nice to see
Sorry,
you.
I can only view. I don't think it's possible to write.
You can download it. Can you download it?
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
No problem.
Right, so let's move on to our next step. Partly, let's go to our second slide. Now, you think about what did you do last week, right? What did you do last week? And enter your answers directly in the done column. Now, these answers, what did you do last week, doesn't have to be related to the purpose that you have mentioned. Okay, simply think about what did you do last week. Don't break your head. Just whatever come to your mind, what did you do last week, simply put in the done column. Now, for example, I have given certain examples. I attended a yoga session. I helped my son with his exam. I submitted a customer proposal. Anything that you come to your mind. Now, today is Saturday. What did you do last week? Simply 4 or 5 things and put it in the done column. There's a column called done. Just write it. 1 minute. Let's take 1 minute.
Yep, let's take 1 minute for this. So no need to remember exactly everything. So whatever comes to your mind, that what you have done. I'm sure you have done quite a number of things last week. So yeah, just few things that you remember, and you can put it under the Excel spreadsheet on the done column. And it can be work related, it can be your personal life, or it can be both. So it doesn't have to be work, it can be your personal life also.
Right. So let's move on to the next step.
All right, let's move on to the next slide.
Now we write down what could you do this week, not what should you do, right? What could you do this week? So enter your answers directly in the possibilities column. Again, they don't have to be aligned exactly to your purpose, right? Anything now, when you simply ask from you, what could I do this week? You get your normal to-do list, right? Put something here and uh, so I have given examples. I have the personal agility workshop, client presentation. I'm going to play badminton and I'm going to take son for the swimming class. So let's take not 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute to write down what could you do this week.
Let me reiterate. So you could do, so doesn't mean that you have to do. So what is possible for you to do?
Right. So let's move on to the next
Next
step.
slide. Yeah.
Yes. Let's move on. Now we have come to an important step, that is to identify what are the forces in your life. What are the forces in your life? Now you already have filled 3 areas: your bigger purpose, of course, and you put what did you do last week and what could you do this week. Now I invite you to look at these 2 columns and see, do you see any connections? Do you see any patterns? For example, I give my example. So you see in possibilities, I have personal agility workshop. And in my done column also, I have submitted a customer proposal. Right now, if I want to give a one name to all these activities, I would say it's my startup or it's my work. Okay, so I would give one color to that, also like blue, for example. Similarly, I have put, I want to play badminton in possibilities column, as well as I attended a yoga session. Now, if I want to give me a one word for this, I would say it's my health and fitness. Now, likewise, I'm inviting you to see, looking at these columns, could you identify any forces like that? Now we just did the first week, right? So you may not find many patterns, right? You will emerge, the patterns will emerge as we do on, but that's okay. Even this week, if you find at least 1 or 2 patterns, right? Identify them. Let's take for 1 minute to identify. Then I'll tell you what to do. First of all, let's identify. Let's take 1 minute to identify these patterns. Right. So let's move on to our next step. Now, since you have identified those patterns, write it down. Write it down in your what really matters column. Now, I have given my health, my family, my startup. Similarly, the identified patterns, you can write it down in the what really matters column. So maybe 30 to 40 seconds. Let's take 30 to 40 seconds.
So whatever similarities you have identified earlier, okay, like say my health, my business, my family, all those similarities, consider as theme, then you will write down in the what really matters column. So it's on the left side of the spreadsheet.
Great. So let's move on to the next step. Okay. Now you identified what really matters in this is just 1 week. Okay. Now this actually in real world, how this happens is it is a coaching call. This is how I do my coaching with with one-on-one coaching calls, right? So uh, rather than it's like a walkthrough, step-by-step walkthrough, this happens through a conversation, a coffee conversation. Okay, but this is a training, so that's why I'm navigating you through the steps, but this is actually a coffee conversation. Okay. So now the next is that you make it visible. Make it visible. What would you do is that now already I have given some color codes. Okay, for my family, it's blue. My health is yellow, and my startup. So you give the same color to the items in the possibilities and done column. So the ask is color the cells in possibilities and done column that reflect the same theme color in what really matters. Okay, so if you have something related to Your health and fitness. If your health and fitness you have given green color, give the green color, same green color. Okay, so just don't think about the urgent column this week today. We will get there, but just color to reflect your what really matters. Maybe another 30 seconds. Right. So now we move on to the next step. And this is something very powerful. Okay. I told that it's important to have the self-awareness on how you spend your capacity. Now you can look at your done column. Look at your done column. Which item did you spend most of the time on last week? Put it to the top of the list. Right now, if it is a sticky note, you can simply move it on, but in Excel, you can cut and paste. Okay. So put the second most time consuming in the position to the 2, then the third, then the fourth, like that. Now, most important thing is once you reorder based on the time you spent, ask yourself, I have spent so much of time on these 3 tasks. Have they really mattered to me? Have they really mattered to me? Okay, so let's take about 30 seconds for that. Right. So this is so much powerful because time is the most valuable currency. You won't be able to touch the same time twice. So you need to have self-awareness to invest your capacity properly. Okay. So I remember last year, no, it's on 2019 actually. I was doing so much of trainings and I was elated by overwhelmed by great feedback I get. So when I get great feedback, I want to do more and more trainings. But thanks to personal, of course, right? We are trainers, we are coaches, we
Yes,
love to
yes,
get
yes.
feedback, right? So when you see
Feel
the 10
happy
out of
about it.
10 rating, we're happy about it, right?
Yes.
Sometimes it tricks us as well. Okay. So I was doing so much of training, but I was very happy. I was very happy that I had the personality systems with me. I was asking, Janani, what are you doing? I know that I was telling myself, I know that I love to get this, good ratings. And when I get more ratings, I do more trainings. But you are not a trainer. You are a coach. Then you have to work on things that matters to you. Don't. That is where I'm drifting off the course from my Jamaica. I was working towards my CTC and CEC, Certified Enterprise Coach from Scrum Alliance. Actually, I felt that I was that year I was, making a pivot and without knowing, without my conscience, because I was elated by the feedback and I was trying to do so much of trainings. But luckily, I had personal agility, right? Then it helped me to turn my ship around to back to my enterprise agile coaching initiatives. So I was very happy because sometimes not everyone have the luxury to have a coach, personal coach, and personal mentor. But that's okay when you don't have a one. Personal agility is your celebration coach, which help you to reminds you where is your Jamaica. If so, then turn the ship around. So this is very important. So let's move on to the next step. Now, this is so powerful. Create insights. Creating insights. Now you see you already have your what really matters column filled. Now this is not one-off activity, right? Now you are doing it for the first time, but this is something happen consistently every week, okay? Now you have your what really matters column, you have your possibilities, and you have your done column, okay? Now what are the discrepancies? How come there are no dots in the possibilities column, no green dots in your possibilities column? For example, I say spending time with my family, a quality time with my family is important. Look at your possibilities column. You have not planned anything for your family, neither you have done anything related to your family in the done column. Because we all are, agilist, and we love to do training, coaching, and all these things, sometimes meetups to buy meetups. But what about your family? Right, that's why we told it's not about somehow achieving your goal. Sometimes you're doing a PhD, but at the moment you will get the PhD but not your family, right? So it's important, or your health, at the stake of your health. Now we don't want that. We talk about celebrating and choosing your life every day. We want to start our week with confidence and end with satisfaction. Then it has to be have the alignment. Now this is a place where we create that alignment. If we go to next step. Yes. Now this is I mentioned this is a coaching call, right? This is where the time we really, awake the clarity of the client, right? We ask, what are the time you're spending time that doesn't really matter. There are things in your possibilities or done column which does not reflect in your what really matters. And or else you have things in your what really matters and they never appear in your possibilities or in your done column. And most importantly, the powerful question is what do you learn about this from these patterns? What is the message it tells you through these patterns? Because it's not about to feel guilty. Oh my God, I'm not being committing, I'm not being taking ownership. It's not about being guilty. It's about creating that self-awareness and understanding what is the deep message it gives to you. Okay, so that's the important thing. Usually we break at this time, we take a breakout room session and have a discussion, but at the awake of the time, we would like to start moving to the next step as well. So we'll move on to the next step. This is the moment that you really activate your GPS. Okay, right. So sometimes as you move on doing this, now I told that you do it every week. Sometimes you felt like, okay, my what really matters is changing. Is that okay? Absolutely, yes, because it's your ship and you are the
Yeah.
captain. Absolutely, yes. Okay. And it has happened a couple of times in my life, right? I started thinking myself as a trainer, then understand no, training is not that defines me. I'm more an enterprise agile coach. I love coaching. So it could happen. But if you keep on changing your course too often, also, you may
You will
not.
never reach anywhere.
Yes, yes. So you may not reach your Jamaica. So please be aware of it. Please be aware of it. Then taking certain pivots in your life is perfectly fine because it's your ship. Okay. Yeah, let's move on.
Sorry, can I just check the what really matters column? Is that supposed to be prioritized and like in the order of priority?
If you can really prioritize that, but that's first of all, a very good question. If you can prioritize, that's okay. And if even if not, right? Sometimes it's everything looks like important, but there are big themes, right? And it's okay to keep without prioritizing even. That's okay. But if you think like, okay, I need to get my health to the top, sometimes I do that, right? Sometimes I'm okay to keep everything without a big prioritization, but sometimes I feel I'm really drifting off the course from my health, then I put it to the top. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. It's up to you.
Yep. So it's completely fine if you don't want to prioritize, but if you kind of like able to know which is the most important meaning to your life, then you put it on top so that it kind of like give a visibility to you to
Yeah.
kind of like remind you basically.
Exactly. And again, thanks for asking that. Also, when you have too many what really matters. I remember about 3 years ago when I started personal agility, and my mentor, I was so honored to have Peter Stevens, the founder of personal agility, as my mentor. So I had about 10 what really matters. And I was always having like arguments. Peter, I need all these things. I can't get rid of anything. I can't drop anything. So I said, okay, wait, be patient, let the magic start. You just okay, leave it. You have 10 things, but then keep on doing the celebration and choose, right? And then, after about a couple of months, I started feeling, okay, I'm not being trustworthy when I have too many what really matters. So first of all, I want to be trustworthy for myself. I started creating that self-awareness and the desire to be trustworthy for myself and then the others. And then it started creating me clarity and and the consensus on what really matters to me end of the day. I was so happy. It was what a kind of a relief. It was a great relief that I was able to drop about 4 what really matters by now. Now it's at 6. I'm so happy. It's at 6. So sometimes the things that you feel that you really can't get away, with the help of personal agility, I was able to take certain bold decisions about my life. So that's a real magic about personal agility for me. Yeah, so let's move on.
Celebrate, my favorite.
Yeah, this is very important. This is very important. We told, right? Now it's not about getting stuff done. It's not just getting stuff done. Once you know now today is Saturday, right? A new week begins tomorrow, or you can say Monday, you know, begins work. Now what you do is everything in your this week column now as and when it happens, you put it done column. You don't have to wait for the end of the week, right? You don't have to wait to the end of the week to put it done. As and when it happens, you put it to done column. Now by now most of the columns could be in done, it could be in still in your this week column, and that's okay. You are just being a human being, right? Some weeks we screw up, some weeks we eat junk food and we don't do our workout, and that's okay. We are just being a human being. But thing is, you have to see the pattern. Are you doing it as a pattern? Are you washed away with only urgent things? And that's what the personality really visualize to you. Okay. Now what happens is now everything in the done column, which is the past week, the week coming to end. Now I'm moving it to week 1. Week 1 means it's the past week, right? You see there are week 1, week 2, week 3 in your priorities map. Likewise, what I do is now, because it's a new week, I want to refill my week for the new week. Because of that, I whatever in the done column, now put it to week 1 column. And most important thing is when you put it, that when you move it from done to done week 1, you have to feel that happy. You have to give yourself a high five, right? Because you did so many things in last week, things that matter to you, things that make you happy, things that make you important, and even urgent things, right? We have to do that. And most important thing is when you move it, feel that happiness. Feel that happiness. Okay. And also see what message if you have not done certain things, and that's okay. But are you doing it as a pattern? Are you doing it as a pattern? This pattern identification is also part of personal agility, but we will not take you through. This is just a glimpse of personal agility. This is a
Yes,
2-day
yes.
workshop. Okay. It's a 2-day workshop with training and coaching. It's not just training, it's just about coaching part as well. This is just a glimpse of it. So I will not touch on the visualizing that alignment in deeper way. So let's move on. But the message is that you have to celebrate when you do moving these cards. Okay, right. I think the last step, we are moving to the last step. Yeah, well, let's move on to the last step. Choose.
Choose. Yes,
Yes.
choose. So, yep, choose now.
Yeah. So what I do is, for me, I think still the slide didn't move, but you are in the choose curves one, right?
Yes, yes, choose. It's look at the possibilities column. Filter what is important, urgent, and make you happy. So, Janani, we might have some network connectivity issue.
I'll open
So,
in my,
yeah.
For anyone, it's still the same slide, or for me, the slide didn't move.
Everyone can see as my screen, it shows choose, or anyone see this something. Yep. On one side is correct. It shows
Okay.
choose.
Right. One
So while
moment,
waiting,
please.
so while waiting for
choose.
Janani,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
All right.
I got it. I got it. So what you do is you look at your possibilities column. Now you already celebrated. You celebrated. Now what you do is you look at your possibilities column, filter. Now a new column. Now the new work starting, right? We told we do it every week. First of all, you celebrate. So 20 minutes, I spend 20 minutes. First 10 minutes, I usually celebrate on looking at what I did last week and what really matters to me, how I did the last week, what is the story that tells me about the last week. I celebrate it. Now I'm looking at my possibilities column. Start thinking, what could I do this week, right? Then the next question, what could I do this week?
Janani, I think you are stuck. So let's wait for Janani. So basically, this is the choosing part. Basically, when you have the possibilities column, then you will choose what you could do for this week. Okay, and then basically you will move it. Those that you could do, you will move it into the this week column. So in the this week column, basically those are you think you can do. Okay, so there are possibilities and also there is this week. So the difference is that possibilities are what you think you can do, and then this week is actually what you are really planning to do. Okay, so it's starting from moving from head to the hand. If you remember, head is actually you thinking of possibility, and hand is actually you do it. Okay, so let me bring you through the next one. So every day, mini celebrate and choose. So the whole idea here is that basically every day we are going to have a mini celebrate and choose, because what happened is that, okay, Janan is back. Janani, are you able to hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So I
Yeah.
already
Yes,
checked
I
through
can
them
hear
on
you.
the.
So sorry for
I already
the
took them through the
great.
possibilities already. So we'll go into this now, the mini celebration and choose.
Yes. So thanks for following up that, Fadli.
No
I
worries,
had a
no worries, no
network
worries,
issue.
no worries.
Thanks. So yeah, so now you chose, and now the new week starts. Okay, the new week starts, and if you want, you can do some mini celebrate and choose similar way for daily also. So I usually do every other day, or sometimes when I find those days that I must get this stuff done, I do a mini celebrate and choose daily as well. But definitely end of the week I will do this. Okay, so let's move on.
Breadcrumb
And
trail.
one important thing is the breadcrumb trail, right? You see, this picture is about Hansel and Gretel. You remember that Hansel put the breadcrumbs to find the way back home, but unfortunately the birds ate them. But here you have it. Here you have it. You know, the done week 1, week 2. It really talks about how have you been in past couple of weeks, past couple of months. So it's very important because sometimes we start on our goals with a lot of momentum, but we give up in the middle. But what happens to me is when I feel like, quitting or giving up, I look at my breadcrumb trail. How many things that you have achieved, and why did you get started with that? What was the purpose to start it, and why you are going to give up in the midway, right? So breadcrumb trail is really helping you to understand where you are coming from and how you have already invested your capacity. Okay, so that's the whole the celebrate and choose steps that you do. The 6 powerful questions. While you ask these 6 powerful questions, you will be basically filling up this priorities map. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, so what we want to emphasize here is these 6 powerful questions: celebrate and choose ceremony, and the priorities map creates a coaching approach. It creates a coaching approach that helps you to expand your thinking and unites your purpose with ownership. Because it starts with awareness of the client, right? I mean, it's yourself. I mean, you can do it with yourself and you can do it with your coachee, like 2 people. So it starts with awareness. What did you last week? It's about you tell a story about yourself. And then it moves into the clarity and consensus. What really matters to you? Or what really matters to me? What could I do this week? Now it starts creating the clarity. And now what we do is gradually that's emerging understanding about the clarity. We put it to a celebration and choose, right? So we ask, what did you do last week? If you know that what really matters to you, then be grateful for that. Appreciate that when you ask, what did you do last week? And then, okay, and then based on what really matters to you, what are you going to expect to get done this week? And how would you stay true to your what really matters? And who could help you? So you can see your what you're trying to do is you are trying to align your intentions and actions. You are trying to align I, me, and myself. You're also trying to connect your purpose and the ownership. Sometimes many tools, many frameworks only helps you to discover your purpose. But this one unites the purpose with ownership. It's not just that you think about your purpose, but you do something about it, right? That the framework will really visualize you. It really tips your conscience, your GPS, so you can start working on it. Okay, so moving on to the last slide, I guess. Yes. So personal agility, end of the day, the personal agility is a coaching framework, and it's a leadership framework that unite the purpose and ownership. And it also reminds you to be nice to yourself and be nice to others. Okay, so
I really
that's
like this.
where
Remind to nice yourself.
exactly we really want that. Sometimes we help so many others, but you need to wear the oxygen mask to yourself before you do it to others. So,
Yeah.
so that's important.
So yeah, so I think we are running out of time. I mean, we are actually overshoot the time for 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
up to here, is there any questions from anyone? I really appreciate everyone's what do you call participation, especially those from odd time now. I mean, thank you so much for attending the session. So before we end the session, any questions? Feel free to ask now. So again, we cannot cover everything because as Janani mentioned, this is a comprehensive framework, okay, which I'm sure you cannot be able to what do you call cover everything within within 2 hours. So we actually have a full 2 days, and in fact, what we are showing you is like tip of the iceberg. There are many other things inside. We have what do you call personal forces map. We have a stakeholder canvas. We have a compass alignment. So many things. So all of this data can be very useful for you to navigate your ship. Okay. Remember, you are captain of the ship. You should be able to control your life, and our life is limited. So yeah. Any questions from anyone?
Hi, I had one. So this has been a
Yes.
great presentation. Thank you so much, Janni and Fadli as well. So in terms of one basic thing is in terms of getting, is there a certification for the personal agility system? And if so, could you maybe put a pointer in the chat or send something in the meetup chat?
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
of course. Yes, of course. So there's a certification path. Maybe we quickly show that slide, Fadli, while I talk. So there's a, you can start with the personal agility recognized practitioner, which is the 2-day workshop with the coaching involved, right? It's not only for, first of all, we need to remind it's not only for people, anyone, right? It could be for organizations, it could be for teams. So this is your, your learning path is you can become a personal agility practitioner, then you become a coach, and then you become a trainer, right? So I have shared my LinkedIn with you, right? So you can write to me, and even like now the certain workshops are on, you can write to me. I will give you all the details about the personal agility, and you can go to the site. Maybe Fadli can share the website as well.
Yes.
And we do this coaching calls many times, the personal agility coaching calls and roundtables. So you please do join us. We're really happy to do that. And most important thing is this has been helping a lot to the Scrum teams. Why? Because we talk about Scrum teams to be self-organized, but self-organization begin with self-leadership. This whole purpose is about igniting the self-leadership. Okay, so that's why we encourage you all to join, be with us, and join in the LinkedIn with both Fadli and me, and you can see lots of events around personal agility.
So it has been interesting journey with everyone. So we have very good participation from everyone across the globe. So yeah, thank you so much for attending this session. Any other questions from anyone?
No, I just want to say thank you, Fadli, and this is Alberto, your friend.
Thank you, Alberto.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
for
you so much.
putting this up. Janini, I missed you last year. We are supposed to have an encounter, but I think I missed it slightly. But I will
I
connect with
see.
you. Nice
Of course.
presentation.
Thank you so
You're
much.
simply awesome.
Yeah,
Well done. We'll talk.
yeah.
Fadli.
And I
Well
don't know,
done.
yeah, if you all
Thank you.
can wait for just 1 minute, we can show that there's some real world examples. Fadli, if you can, just 1 minute I would take, because I mean,
Okay.
better than you should know how it happens truly also. Fadli, okay, or else you can
Which
share the
anything you want me
screen.
to show? Ah, sure.
Yeah, let me share the screen then. I just share the screen. You got that, right? You can see my screen.
Yes, you can see your screen.
Hope you can see the screen.
Yep.
Sure we
Fadli,
can.
yeah.
Sure we can.
So this
Yeah.
is my son's what really matters. Okay. This is my son's what really matters. He's just 9 years old. Yeah. So this is my son's what really matters. So you see, he's just 9 years, but I had he wants to explore planets, you know, family fun with traveling, explore history. He wants to be an astronaut at the same time, archaeologist, right? And you know, camping and hiking. And he also talk about nibbana, that is a Buddhist word, right? So you see, as a parent, sometimes we care too much about their grades and school, but simply it's not what really matters to him. Now, as a parent and as a child, this conversation about, you know, especially when we have to send them to school because the schools were shut down and then opened, putting them to this again, this routine was so difficult. But now he sees this, you know, on his bedroom, on the wall every night, and every morning we have a chat about what really matters to Inura. My son is Inura, right? So it's really nice, that chat. It's very nice to connect with son, even it is it's very small, but we can connect in a nice way when we start thinking about the what really matters to him. And even as a parent, even I want to help him to understand the importance of education or grades, but rather than pushing him, I try to think about his own dreams, things that he matters to him. With that, so he understand, okay, I need to go to school because of I need to achieve these big things in my life. So this is just one example, but I do, you know, coaching through this nice tool, which helps me to keep my clients not only discover the purpose, but stay true to their purpose. So thank you again. Thank you so much. Just want to share the
Thank you,
screen.
everyone. Thank you. So I think we can end the session, Janani, because
Yes,
some of the.
yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, everyone.
Very
Please be
much.
in
Everyone,
touch.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thanks. That was an awesome presentation. Thanks to both of you.
Thanks.
So, did you say you'd be sharing the slides, maybe on Meetup
Yes.
or somewhere else? Yeah. Thank you. Look forward to keeping in
Yes.
touch. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.
Okay, Fadli. You know, it's
Thank you,
always
Alberto.
exciting. It's always exciting meeting you. Always exciting.
Glad to have you here, Alberto.
I'm telling you.
Thank
We'll
you.
hook up. Let me know the next meetup. I enjoyed you guys last meetup also. So
Okay. Thank you, Alberto.
it's been very amazing. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks, man.
Well
Thank you,
done.
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's all right.
Hi.
Yeah, that's my picture,
Finally,
right?
I could see you.
Alberto
I
is
mean, we
a,
have
is
been
a shy guy.
So that's very nice, really. I enjoy every moment. The delivery was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
There are sometimes will you share the what's it called? Will you share the presentation?
Yes. Yes. We will
Yes,
share the
because
presentation.
we'll be sharing with all the, I think all the events, this Agile 20 events, we'll be sharing the deck and the
Okay.
video with the
Hmm.
Agile 20. Then they will be publishing in a meetup group or somewhere after the
Yeah.
Agile 20.
Okay,
So
that's good.
those that registered, I will send in the email. I think that's okay, Rajanani.
Yes.
I will send in the email those that
Yes, we can
registered
send
to
that. Yes.
the
Yes.
Google Forms, and
Can
then
send.
if post, I don't know if I can post in the meetup, so we can put in the meetup also.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
man.
much.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, dear. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.